Imagine you are home alone and someone wakes you from your slumber and forces themselves on you. They threaten to kill you if you call the cops, and when you do call the cops, they don't believe you and say you're just trying to cover up an affair. This situation happened to Donna Paloma. Her husband was away on a business trip, and thankfully her children weren't harmed. All the phone lines were cut, so she couldn't call 911 for help. She ran to a house with a light on and called the cops from their phone. The cops thought this very suspicious, saying, "Why would you leave your kids unattended after a situation like that?" And they started to gather evidence against her, saying she lied about the whole situation. 11 years after the attack, a new police chief, Neil O'Leary, called Donna and her husband John in to tell them that they found her attacker from that night due to evidence collected from a recent rape case. The only problem was they couldn't convict him for the crime, even though they were sure due to statute of limitations. According to New York Times Magazine, statute of limitations was put in place to keep innocent people from being wrongfully charged. This law states that after a certain amount of time that your state puts in place, you can't be charged for a crime. The time limits for a crime differ in each state depending on what state decides to assign. For example, in Illinois, if you commit a theft crime, you have 7 years to stay away from the crime itself, and after 7 years, you can't be legally charged for it. But in Alabama, the theft crime limitation is only 3 years, meaning that after 3 years, you are free of charge from the crime. According to Reason.com, the reason for statute of limitations is that memories fade, evidence is lost, and witnesses become unreliable, and the state doesn't want to prosecute you for old, faulty evidence. Like Sarah Koenig's podcast on Anand Syed, who remembers what happened that random January 13th, 15 years ago? Even if it was a special day or a horrible day in this case, your memories aren't going to be exact. Sarah states that some people might change their memories to give the police what they want. DNA evidence isn't in Sarah's favor because if they were to collect some now, it wouldn't be reliable because there's been 15 years of evidence deteriorating on Haley's body. But murder cases are different from rape cases. The only crime that has no limitations in all state is murder, meaning you can always be charged for murder. According to criminal.findlaw.com, in Illinois, if you commit first or second degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, treason, arson, forgery, child pornography, or many sexual offenses, you have no limitations and can always be charged for this crime. Unfortunately, in Connecticut, where Donna Paloma was assaulted, the limitation for rape is 30 years. They did raise it from 10 to 30 years, but regardless, the limitation law should be abolished in all states. In the Bill Cosby case, many girls came forward about his abuse, but they couldn't legally charge him for it because of the statute of limitations. Only one woman was able to make a case and arrest Bill Cosby because she told her story right before the statute of limitations would apply to him. Eric Levinson from CNN.com tells us that California changed their statute of limitation laws after this case. According to criminal.findlaw.com's graphs, there are 16 states that still have time limits on rape crimes. 11 of the state's limitations are only for underage children. When kids get attacked, they might not say anything because they may not have known what was happening since they are little, or they are too scared because they fear it was their fault or the consequences that will happen afterwards. According to RAIN.com, all the victims under 18, 34% are under 12, and 66% are the ages 12 through 17. Victims of child sexual abuse are 4 times more likely to develop symptoms of drug abuse and experience PTSD as adults. They are also 5 times more likely to experience depressive episodes as adults. Also from RAIN.com, the perpetrator is most likely an acquaintance or a family member. Only 7% are strangers. Illinois has fortunately lifted the statute of limitation laws against child rape crimes. Alex Yorko from DCBA.org tells us that on May 18, 2017, they passed this law and it became effective in August. But I found myself asking, what about rape against adults? It is not right that these men and women can get raped, and due to these limitations, the attacker might get away with ruining their lives. Just as kids, adults have reasons for not reporting the crime right away. Psychologicallytoday.com tells us that rape victims don't come forward at first because of shame, blaming themselves, fear of consequences, and feelings of helplessness. We can take a stand to this issue by contacting your state representative and persuading them to make a change to the laws of limitations in our state. Illinois has 18 state representatives, 1 for each district. We are District 11, and our representative is named Natalie A. Manley, and our senator is Jennifer Bertino Tarrant. Their numbers are available on illinoispolicy.org. Help our state and soon our nation abolish statute of limitations.